Richard will be ready. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 17th meeting of the Maplewood Township Committee. I will read the statement pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975. This is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of regular meetings on the bulletin board of the municipal building, by mailing the annual notice of regular meetings for 2026 to the News Record and Star Ledger in December 2025, and by filing said notice in the office of the Township Clerk.
Ms. Adams?
Here.
Ms. Collins-Colding?
Here.
Mr. Daffis?
Present.
Ms. Herman?
Here.
Mayor DeLuca.
Here.
Whereas Chapter 231, Public Laws 1975, commonly known as the Open Public Meetings Act, requires all meetings of public bodies be open to the public. And whereas Section 7A provides that the governing body has the discretion to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation of the public in any meeting, and whereas desire the governing body to comply with the provision of this act, same time to conduct its business in an orderly and expeditious manner, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee, Township of Maplewood does hereby prohibit, except as set forth in the formal agenda, active participation in deliberations of the governing body by the public, except as otherwise prescribed by law, does limit the public to the observations of the actions and discussions of the governing body at all of its regular and special meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins-Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Before we do the salute to the flag, we want to remember 4 individuals who have recently passed away. And we're just going to make a statement for each. I'm going to ask Deputy Mayor Herman if she would speak about Mr. Angelo.
Thank you. Zev Gerald Angelou. Mr. Angelou passed away on February 6, 2026, a Maplewood resident, husband, father of 3 school-age children at CHS and MMS, and a softball program coach for many years in our town.
And Committee Member Adams, if you would talk about Mr. Melvin.
Yes, Curtis B. Melvin Sr. Passed away on February 13th of this year. He was the father of our assistant CFO for the township, April Miller, and we send our condolences to Ms. Miller.
And Committee Member Daffis on Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. We want to remember Robert Thompson, who passed away this week. Robert Thompson, along with his family, was a resident in Maplewood for over 50 years, and he was a retired Township of Maplewood employee. He served as a property maintenance inspector, and he served for decades as chair of Maplewood's rent leveling board, and was the go-to person for all things related to rent leveling in the township. Even after his retirement, Mr. Thompson stayed engaged, providing guidance and volunteering. And I really worked very closely with him and learned a lot from him, and I'm going to say he's going to be missed. He was a true gentleman and a very kind man and extremely knowledgeable about the history of our town. And we want to honor his memory, and may his memory be a blessing to the community and to his family that he leaves behind.
Thank you. And if I could ask the Schoon family to come on up to the microphone there, I'll meet you there. Grandpa up here too. So the 4th person we want to honor passed away all too soon, and that is Jawan A. Schoon, affectionately known as Jay. And he was an active duty member of the Air Force who grew up in Maplewood, graduated from Columbia High School, and he passed away while on active duty in Florida on January 25th. And his mom and grandfather are here, and we wanted her to come up and just share some reflection of his son.
Thank you. That was very sweet. Thank you. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika Schoon. I am the mother of Juwan Schoon, who graduated from Columbia High School back in 2015. Jay was an engineer, an airborne engineer for the United States Air Force. He was super bright, super smart, super humble. When he was at Columbia, his engineering desires started to peak. He was part of the robotics club in Columbia. He played football for Columbia. He did lacrosse for Columbia, as well as he was a Makos when he was younger. But he was only 28 years old, but he was wise beyond his years. Like I said, he was extremely humble, extremely bright, but he always was a selfless person. He will always give to anyone that needed any assistance. So I want to thank everyone here today for remembering my son and honoring him. I thought I could do this.
You're doing fine.
I do appreciate everyone taking the time out this evening before your meeting to remember him. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
So now we're going to do a salute to the flag, and if you would join me in honor of your son
Yes.
as a service member. If everyone would just rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, we're going to move on. Again, please keep those 4 people in your thoughts this evening. We have a presentation that we're going to start with. I'm going to, at that point, turn the meeting over to Committee Member Adams and as the chair of the Engineering and Public Works Committee, and she will have the presentation. There'll be a public hearing, and then we'll do a vote on a resolution. After that, we will do board and committee appointments. We have 3 members for the Senior Advisory Committee. We're going to keep you prisoner here until after the presentation. And then we're going to have a public comment session. It'll be our first one of the evening. If anyone would like to speak to us on an agenda item only, so you'll be able to come up and just introduce yourself and tell us your address. Then we have an ordinance on final passage to create the position of Assistant Tax Collector. We have 3 ordinances that we're introducing regarding our affordable housing plan. One is just adoption of the affordable housing rules. 2 is to allow for 100% affordable housing. 2 is affordable housing overlay zones in different places around town, which will facilitate the construction of affordable housing. 3 is a 100% affordable housing at redevelopment area 2, which is on Boyden Avenue. And then we have a 4th and 5th ordinance on introduction. One is riparian credits for the project we're doing up on Maple Terrace. Second is to prohibit parking on a portion of Carlton Court. We'll go into administrative reports from elected officials. We have 1 discussion item. We'll be talking about the streeteries in Maplewood Village. We have our consent agenda, which consists of minutes and payment of bills, various resolutions, closing projects. And then we'll have our second public comment period on any subject matter. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Committee Member Adams and to run our hearing and presentation on our Green Acres application for DeHart Park.
Thank you, Mayor. We are required for, what we are doing here is applying for funding through the Green Acres program to help fund the improvements for Phase 2 of DeHart Park. Phase 1 is rebuilding the field, the athletic field. Phase 2 is amenities and improvements to the remainder of the park, including the playground and other things that this presentation will go into for the public. We're required to have a public hearing. We had our first public hearing February 4th. Was it February 4th? Not a bad memory for, you know. February 4th, we had the first one over at the Hart Community Center, and tonight is our second hearing, after which, as the mayor said, we will vote on it. We will take comment, we will have questions. Anyone who wants to participate in the hearing can do so, and then we will pass a resolution so that we can apply for this funding and hopefully get this funding so that we can do these improvements for this park that's vital to the neighborhood of the Hilton neighborhood. So with that, I'd like to bring up and introduce our Director of Engineering and Public Works, Paul Kittner, to introduce the consultant and your colleagues and conduct the hearing. So ahead.
Ms. Adams, thank you. Mayor, committee, good evening. Paul Kittner, Township Engineer and Director of Public Works. We're here to talk about DeHart, the Green Acres application for what we call the Phase 2 improvements of DeHart. You know, this meeting culminated from a series of meetings. Yes, it was the most recent February 4th meeting, but it really started April 3rd of 2025 when we conducted a meeting in our community center at DeHart and solicited their comments and their questions, and we took in information, and it was very valuable. So what I really got from that meeting was that just doing the athletic field really wouldn't satisfy the public. They were looking for more than just the athletic field reconstruction. And all those comments and points that they brought up, I think we looked at those. We actually did a survey monkey, brought their comments in, and that culminated into the proposal, which you're going to see, the plan. Green Acres requires me to talk about the environmental impact statement, and that's what I'm going to get into briefly to talk to you about the findings. And then I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Danielson, Kirk Danielson from VHB. He's going to go into the actual concept plan and go through those improvements. I just want to stress to the public here tonight that we're focused on what we call the Phase 2 improvements. That's what encompasses the Green Acres application. We're not looking at Phase 1. If you want to review that, it's actually available on YouTube. You could look at the April 3rd, 2025 meeting or the February 4th, 2026 meeting on YouTube. So the environmental impact statement is also available, by the way, on our website, www.maplewoodnj.gov, and it's under the DeHart Park Rehabilitation Project section. So you could download that if you're interested in reviewing it yourself. I'm not about to talk about every finding in the report. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to read it word for word to you. I'm going to just summarize
Definitely not.
some of the outstanding issues that maybe were discovered. So just as an aside, if we were removing trees as part of this application, then we would have to complete a park development tree removal evaluation form. But we're in fact not removing trees. We're actually adding 40+ trees with this application. So that was not necessary. I'm just disclosing that. So the conclusions that were drawn in the environmental impact statement were mainly derived from the NJDEP GeoWeb website. It's a tremendously powerful application that features GIS data layers. So we get to search a lot of this information on that. And the subject property, just for the record, I want to mention that is Block 48.47, Lot 8. It contains approximately 7.26 acres. It's bound by Burnett Ave to the north, Newark Way to the south, residential uses to the west, including Toronto Court, and Maplewood Senior Center and DPW property to the east. The current park consists of the community center building, parking lots, walkways, including the walking path, grass, and open space areas, including the soccer field and softball field, lights, including the stadium lighting, designated workout areas, playground areas, tennis and basketball courts, and various recreational uses and improvements. There are no mapped wetlands shown on GeoWeb website. There are also no obvious wetland species of vegetation observed by my team. Given the lack of wetlands, there does not appear to be suitable habitat for threatened or endangered species. Although T&E species, I want to note, is not available on the GeoWeb, based on our review, it didn't seem like there would be suitable habitat. The land is gently sloped 3 to 5%, and the native soil is Bhutan silt loam, which does not drain particularly well, which actually is pretty closely matched to what exists out there in the field now. Historic aerials indicate that the property was used as a baseball field all the way back from 1954. And although blurry, the picture seems from 1931 to indicate farmland. It tells me, archaeological was not a feature you could check on GeoWeb, but based on the use of the property since 1956 as a ball field, I would not expect to find outstanding results from an archaeological survey. Historic features were also checked under GeoWeb, and the property was not identified as historic property. It's also not designated under the state or national registered properties. The existing uses are recreational, and that does not change with the proposed uses in Phase 2. Noise is an adverse impact for the project that will temporarily increase, but it is not anticipated that this will continue post-construction. It will decrease, in fact. We are required to talk about an alternatives analysis, and obviously the biggest alternative would be not constructing anything. That would be one option, right? We don't have to construct this, but I think in doing so, we would be depriving our community of improved recreational facilities by not doing this. So in my mind, I think it's got some strong positive criteria to move forward with this. In conclusion, there are some adverse environmental impacts that cannot be avoided. This includes mostly temporary impacts such as noise, dust, traffic increases from the construction, but these are all temporary impacts and they will subside post-construction. We'll also try to minimize these impacts with silt fence to control the migration of soil. It'll comply with soil erosion standards. We'll adjust traffic patterns as necessary to safely convey traffic vehicles and materials during construction, and we'll ensure that work also occurs during regular hours and will comply with all noise standards of the township. Based on these findings in this report of the environmental impact analysis, this property, I believe, is well suited for the proposed improvements. And that's what I conclude from this. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kirk Danielson from VHB. He's going to go over the concepts with the public.
Okay,
So
come on up.
Thank you, Paul. Good evening, Mayor, Council. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to present the concept plan for the playground. Can you?
There it is.
Okay, so what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to give you an overall view of the playground area, the surrounding areas. I'm going to focus on primarily the playground, the areas that are kind of adjacent, pretty close to the playground area itself, and then I'm going to go into some of the site amenities. Then I will kind of talk about the playground equipment themselves in terms of the age groups and what other ancillary equipment we might have surrounding the two different age groups. And then I'll show you some renderings of what the equipment is going to ultimately look like, potentially. I mean, there's always room for adjustment. So this is just, again, just a concept. You can go to the next slide. So as you can tell, right now, the playground area in here is where the existing playground is. And what we're proposing to do is to separate the overall area into two age groups, a 5 to 12 and a 2 to 5. Get my, oh, it's not gonna work. So this area in here is gonna be, I'm left-handed, so don't mind me. So this area in here is dedicated to be the 2 to 5 area. The area up in here is dedicated to be the 5 to 12 structure. We have at the base of the 5 to 12 a shade structure, and again at the base of the 2 to 5 we have an additional shade structure. Part of this concept also is to include a rain garden, which you could see right here at the entrance of the park. Actually, I'm sorry, to the left of the entrance of the park.
On the left, yeah.
What we're also going to include too is off of the parking lot, there's really no entry into the park. Kind of lacks like an arrival standpoint. And what we're going to do is include a focal point that if you park in the parking lot, you're going to arrive at the park and it's going to basically kind of, announce that you've arrived at the playground, which is shown in here in this area. It's also shown down in this area in a section view of what's going to be called a signage wall. That'll have the park in big letters, some flagpoles behind it to give you some vertical elements to, again, show you that arrival into the park and the playground itself. On this part of the playground, we're going to have some areas where we're going to have some seating for overview of the fields, which are further down here, kind of off this plan, which you really can't see. On each side of the field, we're going to have two separate observation areas for seating and whatnot. And then in the middle of that, we were going to have a picnic area, because right now you do have a picnic area with a lot of tables for the camp kids. So we're going to maintain that and kind of accentuate that with some new tables, better surfacing, that kind of thing. And then to the right of the picnic area is where the existing exercise equipment is. That's going to remain as is. We might shift some of the equipment around just to kind of make better use of the space. And we're going to also, as part of this phase, kind of modify the existing walkway a little bit. Right now there's a lot of paths and it's kind of, I like to call it being path happy. So we're going to try to eliminate some of that and make it more direct and more succinct into getting from point A to point B. So there you can see that this is going to be part of that new walkway system, and then we're going to have access points, which the existing access point kind of is going to remain, and we're going to add a couple other ones over here and over here. What we're also going to include is something for the seniors. Up in this area off of the shade structure that's going to be dedicated to the 5 to 12-year-olds, we're going to have a small area for seniors as a sitting space, kind of reflective. You want to read a book, maybe watch your grandkids. So that's what this area is going to be dedicated to. We're going to have some benches. We're also going to have some additional landscape material, shade trees, because I know some of the comments, shade is a big factor. And my kids are 16 and 25, but I was a parent of 2 to 5s and 5 to 12 when I was out there, it got hot. So I can totally understand the need for shade. Next slide. So this next slide is going to show what the proposed playground structures are going to look like potentially. This structure up here is kind of an overall view of the entire space that shows the 5 to 12 unit. It shows the 2 to 5 in the back there with the 2 shade structures. This second image is more of a in-depth view of the 5 to 12-year-old structure. And then this lower image down here is a more detailed view of the 2 to 5. The images over here are just general images that show you what potentially could be in terms of the shade structure, more of a steel gazebo. We have benches that are shown here. There are some center armrests that are shown in the center, and those are more geared towards people just being able to get up off the bench, because sometimes when you have a 6 to 8 foot bench and there's no armrest there, it's hard to get up. So that's what the intent of that center armrest is for. We have bike racks, trash cans, and a picnic table. Again, these are all suggested pieces of site furnishings. The picnic table here is geared towards being ADA compliant. So if anybody's in a wheelchair, they can kind of roll up to the end. That way it's geared towards anybody who's actually in a chair. The safety surfacing here is shown in these different colors, which right now we're just showing it as a port-in-place surface, but we're kind of looking and exploring different options as this whole process continues. Right now this is just a concept stage. So as the Green Acres funding comes in and we're getting more into the design of the park itself and the playground, we can kind of take a look, get a deeper dive into the actual equipment and surfacing material and some of the other details. Next slide, please. So these next couple images are basically just renderings of what the entry could look like, as well as what the equipment will going to look like. Right here, you can tell that this is going to be the monument sign wall. It says the Hart Park. You can tell in the background we have some flag poles to, again, give you that vertical element to show the arrival to the playground, with heavy landscaping surrounding the monument wall or the sign wall itself. And then in the background, you can see the 5 to 12 structure, and then further back, you got the shade structures and picnic areas. Next slide, please. This view is a view of the 5 to 12-year-old unit, kind of like a, if you're kind of laying down on the ground looking up, that's what you would see. We have slides, some shade canopies, again, to give you that shade that's necessary. Next slide. This view is more of the 5 to 12-year-old unit. This structure down here is more geared towards inclusive play. So you can see down in here there's some tactile not images, but some tactile equipment on the bottom here, some seating area for kids to kind of play and do their thing. Next slide. And again, this is just another view from the 2 to 5 unit. Again, more of the inclusive play where we have panels that kids can touch and feel and interact with. Again, slides over here, some climbing apparatus, which again is more of an inclusive element as well. And I think that do we have another slide that has, again, okay. So this slide just basically shows you what can be included in terms of ground level play, more climbing, seating. There's several of these elements throughout the overall playground area. We have some musical equipment, xylophones, kind of chimes. Again, those are also intended to be more inclusive. So there are quite a bit of inclusive pieces throughout this entire playground. Next slide. And that will do it.
That's it? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, I'll open a hearing for this. If there's anyone in the room who would like to ask a question, either of the Township Committee or the presenters, please come up to the microphone and identify yourself and all that. Is anyone here who wants that? Speak at all on this? Anyone on Zoom?
Any members of the public joining us via Zoom, if you'd like to ask any questions regarding this presentation, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Ms.
Okay, it must be perfect then. All right, so with that, I'll close the hearing, and I'll call for the resolution. Oops, I have the resolution. Multitasking. I move, we have a resolution of approval for the Green Acres application for Dehart Park ancillary recreational improvements. I move the adoption of this resolution.
I second.
Roll call?
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Thank you very much. That was easier than you thought it would be. We had a lot more input at the community center, but a lot of it was incorporated. So thank you so much for your time and for coming tonight. Yes, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next up, we have our board and committee appointments, and Deputy Mayor Herman's going to handle that.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we have 3 applicants for the Senior Advisory Committee. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to call each of them, and if you're here, please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself and tell us why you want to be on the committee. Our first new member is Jacqueline Herships.
Jackie.
Yes, please.
Never seen a mic like this before. Thank you for this opportunity to be of service. I learned that you were looking for people to serve on the Senior Citizens Advisory Committee to Maplewood, and I thought, okay, I'll volunteer, see what happens. And one reason was that I've lived here for so long, and I know that Maplewood, in my experience, seemed to be very supportive of seniors. And I was looking at it from the outside, looking in, but now I'm on the inside. And it's very different. And I have to tell you, I've had 2 experiences very recently with people from Maplewood, starting with Dean Daffis, who jumped in to help a friend of mine, an elderly woman who was about to lose her home because her landlord had died. And although you didn't find her another home, you gave her so much confidence knowing that you were there. And I don't know if you know this, but she's settled now in a new home. Thank you for that. And then I had to fill out the application, but I no longer have an office. I've moved to a senior community, and I have a computer, not a printer, no way to upload and download and all of that. And Malia came over knowing it's a little difficult for me to get around, and she walked me through the whole thing. So that is an indication to me that I'm right about Maplewood, and I'd like to help. The other thing is I see that I may be able to help building a bridge between the community I live in and the wider community of Maplewood Township. And that is something that would be renewed. I think it was very involved at one point, but then after COVID, that fell away, and then it became involved with a large corporation, and things changed. I think they just kind of sort of forgot. So we'll try and put that back together if I can help with that.
Thank you. And Jackie lives at Winchester Gardens, so we're really excited to have a member of the senior committee from there so that we can tie that together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
And our next new member is Larry Tamburi.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. My wife and I have lived in Maplewood since 1991, except for a short period of 8 years when we lived in Pittsburgh. But we wanted to move back to Maplewood when I changed careers, and so we're back here. Previously, I was on Arts Maplewood. I was a member of Arts Maplewood, and I was a member of the board of the adult school. And now that I'm retired from full-time employment, and I'm a senior citizen, I thought maybe I could learn something and also be of some help to the community. So that's why I'm interested in this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then the third member, you'll have to help me with your name pronunciation, Nasira Shah. I don't know if she's here today or online. Is there somebody online? Okay, I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it. Let me see if I can pull up. My computer's frozen. She is another member who has reached out to us when she heard that we were looking for applicants, and she wants to, she says, I would like to get involved in my community as an older person. I would like to have a voice on ways to make things easier for older adults. I believe I am a good fit for this role as a result of being involved in an organization that at times caters to older adults. She works for the state of New Jersey as a judiciary coordinator. So I move these three candidates:
I'll second.
Jacqueline Herships, Larry Tamburi, and Nasira Shah for membership on the Senior Advisory Committee.
I'll second it again.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes, welcome.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, congratulations, everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you can stick around or you can go home.
And I will reach out to all of you with the information on our next meetings. Thank you so much.
And we have our first public comment period. This is on agenda items only. If you'd like to speak, I ask you to come up to the mic. There'll be another one later on any subject, but if this is an agenda item, let's see if there's anybody on Zoom.
Any members of the public joining us via Zoom would like to speak on any agenda items, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. We're going to close this one. Again, there'll be another public comment period. We have an ordinance on final passage.
Yes, Mayor. Item number 8, ordinance on final passage. Ordinance number 3177-26 is an ordinance to amend table of organization within the Township of Maplewood to establish the position of Assistant Tax Collector. This ordinance will amend the Township's table of organization to establish the position of Assistant Tax Collector and establish a salary range for the position.
This ordinance has been published, copies posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and copies made available to the general public in accordance with the law. Is there anyone here who would like to speak on this ordinance which establishes an assistant tax collector position? It's a hot burning issue in town. Yes, go ahead. You can go up here. And just identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. Paul Desjardins, resident for 47 years in Maplewood. I was just asking what the salary range is for this position and whether it's existed before.
Mr. Weary.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pulling up the salary. It has not existed before, so this is a new position in the municipality, which is why we are establishing the range. And I don't have the range in front of me, but I will in a moment if I can report back.
So one thing, we also have a position of deputy tax collector, which we are not filling, and we are creating this position to fill. So we will not be appointing a deputy tax collector.
Okay, so it's not a net increase.
It's not a net increase, no.
Okay, that answers
And the salaries are about the same.
Okay, that answers the baseline question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom?
Any members of the public joining us via Zoom would like to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay. Can we get a motion, Committee Member Adams?
I move this ordinance be adopted as a whole and the clerk be directed to publish the same as a passed ordinance in the Maplewood South Orange News Record according to law.
I second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Thurman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. We have 5 ordinances on introduction. I'm going to ask our Township Attorney, Ms. Credidio, if she would just explain in general terms, briefly, the 3 that relate to affordable housing.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
No, you got.
You're
pull it
on, but
really
just
close.
pull it a little closer.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 318126, which is on for introduction this evening, is what I would refer to as an affordable housing regulations ordinance. This follows the template ordinance that was created by the Department of Community Affairs and the Fair Share Housing Center. Essentially, it replaces existing portions of the Township Code with respect to mandatory set-aside of affordable units in developments of 5 units or more. It provides for development fees, and it also provides for compliance with the updated Uniform Housing Affordability controls that were recently adopted by DCA. So essentially, what this ordinance does, all 48 pages of it, is update portions of the Township Code to reflect the recently updated Fair Housing Act and regulations related thereto. For ordinance number 318226, also on introduction, this ordinance provides for an overlay zone at 7 sites throughout the township. And so an overlay zone, essentially, you have the existing zoning for those sites, and then in addition to, the property owner may elect to use the overlay zoning that's set forth in this ordinance. And that provides specifically for the development of multifamily housing at each of these sites, if desired, provided that a minimum number of affordable units is met based on a 20% set-aside. So the maximum density and the minimum affordable set-aside is set forth for each of the sites. It also has things like, landscaping, buffering, parking, and other regulations that typically relate to multifamily housing.
And this doesn't, I'm sorry, this does not require a property owner to build. This, in case they want to build, this enables them to build with some density standards and affordability requirements.
That's absolutely correct, Mayor. It just gives property owners another option. They can still utilize the underlying zoning, the existing zoning, if they like.
Can you speak up? We're getting requests from the press that they can't hear you, and they're dying to hear you.
It should be, we still have closed captioning, so.
You got to pull it closer. There you go. That's better.
Yeah.
I've never been accused of being,
I know. That's why it's a surprise.
today is the first time.
Okay.
So both ordinance 3181 and 3182, the regulations ordinance and the overlay ordinance, are being referred to the planning board for review as to their consistency with the master plan. That's a traditional item that occurs when you have a change to a zoning ordinance. The scheduled date for that meeting is February 26th. The planning board is having a special meeting to deal with this and a few other items. And then these ordinances are scheduled for second hearing on March 3rd. The third ordinance that we have that relates to affordable housing is ordinance 318326, which would enact amendments to the redevelopment plan for redevelopment area 2 to allow as an additional permitted use in a certain subsect of that area 100% affordable housing, either apartments or stacked flats. Again, this is providing an additional option to property owners in that area, still have all of the uses that they had before. This particular amendment was previously reviewed by the planning board at their meeting on February 10th, and they supported its adoption. They made 2 recommendations. one simply as to a cross-reference, another as to updating a parking standard, and the ordinance you see before you incorporates the recommendations that were made by the planning board at their meeting.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go back to the introduction of ordinances, which is section 9. We have ordinance number 9A.
Yes, Mayor, these are all on introduction. Ordinance number 3181-26 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 150, Housing Affordable, of the Code of the Township of Maplewood to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act, FHA, as amended, and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, as amended regarding compliance with the township's affordable housing obligations and repealing any portion of the township code inconsistent therewith. This ordinance will enact new affordable housing regulations within the township to reflect amendments to the Fair Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, and to repeal any current township ordinance to the extent that is inconsistent with those amendments.
Thank you. Can we get a motion, Committee Member Daffis?
Certainly, Mayor. I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on March 3rd, 2026.
I second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
Next, also on introduction, 9B, ordinance number 3182-26 is an ordinance to amend Chapter 271, zoning and development regulations of the Code of the Township of Maplewood to address compliance with the township's affordable housing obligations by establishing the Affordable Housing Overlay 1 Zone, AHO-1. This ordinance will amend Section 271-70, zone requirements of Article 5, zoning provisions in Chapter 271, zoning and development regulations of the Code of the Township of Maplewood to establish the Affordable Housing Overlay 1 Zone, AHO-1, which shall include the following properties: 88 Burnett Avenue, identified as Block 48.47, Lot 5, 173444 Springfield Avenue, identified as Block 30.04, Lot 127, 2128-2144 Milburn Avenue, identified as Block 21.12, Lot 61, 79 Donnell Road, identified as Block 17.16, Lot 161, 275 Parker Avenue, identified as Block 42.08, Lot 146, 2017 Springfield Avenue, identified as Block 29.04, Lot 536, and 333 Elmwood Avenue, identified as Block 31-34, Lot 4, on the Maplewood tax map.
Thank you. Committee Member Adams, can we get a motion?
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on March 3rd.
I second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman? Mayor
Yes.
DeLuca?
Yes.
Okay, and next we have item 9C, also an introduction. Ordinance number 3183-26, an ordinance enacting an amendment to the amended and supplemented redevelopment plan for redevelopment area 2. This ordinance will amend the amended and supplemented redevelopment plan for redevelopment area 2, including but not limited to section 7 thereof, to add apartment buildings and/or stacked flats consisting entirely of affordable dwelling units as a permitted use in certain areas, and to make certain other related revisions in connection therewith.
Thank you. Committee Member Collins Colding.
I move the passage of this ordinance on the first reading, its publication according to the law in the Township of Maplewood, news record, and the hearing to be held on March 3rd, 2026.
I second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes. Thank you.
Next, we have 9D, which is ordinance number 3184-26, is an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of riparian credits in connection with the construction of stormwater facilities on Maple Terrace and Berkeley Road in the Township of Maplewood. This ordinance will authorize the township to acquire riparian credits in connection with the construction of stormwater facilities on Maple Terrace and Berkeley Road.
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on March 3rd, 2026.
Second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Abstain.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes.
And 9E, the final one, is ordinance number 3185-26, also an introduction, an ordinance amending Chapter 257 of the Code of the Township of Maplewood entitled Vehicles and Traffic to prohibit parking on a portion of Carlton Court. This ordinance will prohibit parking on the west side of the portion of Carlton Court that is adjacent to the railroad. Parking will remain permitted on the east side of the street.
I move the passage of this ordinance on first reading, its publication according to law in the Maplewood South Orange News Record, and a hearing to be held on March 3rd, 2026.
I second.
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. We're now going to move into administrative reports. Mr. Weary?
Thank you, Mayor. To answer the earlier question, the assistant tax collector position established today is a grade 5, which corresponds to a salary range of $64,001 up to $78,000. And that is one grade lower than the deputy tax collector position that may have otherwise been appointed for this vacancy.
Thank you.
And I have no report tonight, Mayor.
Any questions for Mr. Weary?
No.
You're off the hook.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Credidio, I know I had you speak a lot tonight already, so.
No report, Mayor.
Oh, we talked you out. Any questions for Ms. Credidio? Okay, thank you. Ms. Fritzen?
Yes, Mayor, I wanted to give a report on the past primary election that was held on since our last meeting on Thursday, February 5th. And, just to indicate that voter turnout was relatively low. We had overall 5,488 ballots cast in Maplewood, and that includes vote by mail. And I still don't have the breakdown on what percentage actually came in person to the polls. But, the turnout was relatively low. It was problem-free for the most part. And I would just remind everyone that the special general election for a follow-up to the primary is Thursday, April 16th, also on a Thursday. A little bit confusing for the public. And we had people show up at different polling locations on the Tuesday thinking that, they were voting that day. Just not used to voting on a Thursday in New Jersey. And, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any questions for Ms. Fritzen? Doesn't look like it. All right, we're going to go to Committee Member Collins Colding for report from elected officials.
Thank you, Mayor. We don't have too much, but I just want to remind everybody we have our home sharing information session on February 18 at the Maplewood Community Center. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, March 18th, at the community center. So we'll be having lunch for the seniors. And we also have at the Woodland on the 19th centers, the film screening, followed by a conversation with Khalil Muhammad. And on the 22nd of February, we have the chili cook-off. So that is pretty much it for now.
Any questions for our committee member? Okay. Committee member Adams.
Yes, thank you. Just a couple brief updates. We have, as you heard tonight, we have the meetings done for Dehart Park Phase 2 improvements and Green Acres funding application. We are going over some plans. We will be having more community meetings for the upcoming design possibilities for Prospect Street. Those will be later in the year. Also, Women's History Month kicks off March 1st. Yay. So March 3rd, we have at our Township Committee meeting, we have a proclamation for Women's History Month that we do. I'm gathering former and current elected women in the community to join us from Maplewood, South Orange. And we also, at that meeting, we have our Wear White for Women photo. So anyone who comes for that meeting, come and be prepared to smile and wear something white. So that's for women's suffrage, for those who don't know. Yeah, we're excited. We have lots of events coming up for, I saw that look, for the whole month. So we will, somawomen.org is where you go for that, but don't go until I update it for this year. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Committee member Daffis.
I have a discussion item, Mayor, so I'm going to yield my time for that. No other report otherwise.
Thank you. Any questions? Good.
Wow.
Deputy Mayor Herman.
I want to mention a couple other events coming up on not this weekend, but the following weekend on Saturday, February 28th at 3 p.m. is the CPAC Resource Fair. CPAC is the Special Education Parent Advisory Committee, and this resource fair, I believe it will be the third. It is being held at the Columbia High School cafeteria. And this year, the health department, the Maplewood Health Department, Maplewood and South Orange Health Department will be there with a table, and also our very own All Access Committee will be there with a table to talk to residents. So make sure you mark that in your calendar. And then the very next day is Lunar Fest at the Woodlands. So Lunar Day is I think it's today.
It's today.
Yeah, and it's the Year of the Horse, so happy Year of the Horse. But the actual festival will be on March 1st, and that is Sunday at the Woodland. And then I did want to point out, you know, every time we meet, you hear me, you hear Ms. Collins-Colding, you hear many of us, Mr. DeLuca, Mr. Daffis, and Ms. Adams, all talk about events that are coming up, right? How do you find out about these events? I want to give you three ways that you can find out about these events that are really important. Number one, go to our website. It is maplewoodnj.gov. Go to our website, and if you look at the front page of our website, we've got some slides with some really great information there. Number two, sign up for our newsletter. So if you go to the website and you hover over residents, look for the button that says sign up for Maplewood News. If you click on that, you put in your email and you will get our newsletter. It comes out twice a month, the week after our meeting. So our next one will be coming out next Wednesday. And it has a lot of these events that we talk about, other things that you need to know. It's really, you need to subscribe. It's the best way to find out what is going on in town. And the third way is to follow us on social media. Our Instagram handle is Maplewood, TWP for Township. And a lot of the information that you're going to see in the email newsletter, that you're going to see on our website, you're going to see it first on the Instagram. So those are 3 ways. Go to our website, sign up for our newsletter, follow us on Instagram. And if you have ideas for other ways to get news, you can email me. On the website, if you hit About Us, there's a contact directory, and it has our emails. And mine is right there, so you can email me about thoughts that you have about how to better get communications from us. And while you're there, there's also, this is really cool, under the About Us, there's a link for Maplewood Town Hall lights. So you can find out why we light the town hall up, different colors. So there's a lot of things you can discover on our website. Please check it out. Thank you.
And the fourth way is to tune into our meetings right here. Because you have nothing else to do, right? Yeah, no, thank you.
There's a basketball game.
Okay, thank you very much. I just have a couple of things. One is that I want to give thanks to Chris Calori, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of New Jersey Transit. Chris came out to Maplewood this morning to greet voters. We were out there, Mr. Daffis and I were out there joining him to greet voters, help voters. What did I say, voters?
Voters. Commuters.
They may be voters, but they were commuters. You know, normally
so
when
used to going.
we go to the train station in the morning like that, we're talking to voters.
Yes.
This was we were talking to commuters. We were assisting commuters in answering their questions and helping them as really the first day of the diversion of trains from here to Hoboken. But it went very well, at least on the way. We've heard a few glitches on the way back, but pretty much it's been a good day. I think every day it's going to get bigger and bigger as far as the population using the trains. Today was a little bit light, but we'll see. But I think it was great that Mr. Calori came here. Of all the train stations in New Jersey he could have come to, he came to Maplewood. So that was great. And he's a man of action. I've watched him a very long time, and I'm very impressed by him. And his other job, in addition to this, the governor has appointed him as the chair of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. Yeah. He runs the Parkway and the Turnpike. So he's got a lot on his plate, but he was here in Maplewood. And I just want to go through a number of, talking about events. Black History Month, this is our last meeting until the end of the month, and Black History Month ends at the end of February. So, we have things happening this weekend and next weekend. A Raisin in the Sun is happening at the Bergdorf. Sinners, the movie, over at the Woodland. Brazil, conversation and celebration of the African diaspora. That's happening at Asta's Gallery on Saturday. We have an artist talk at 1978 also on Saturday. Cooking demonstration with Chef Jesse, remembering his mom. And he's going to be cooking some shrimp gumbo and cheese biscuits and southern fried chicken, so bring your appetite, although it might be full already, but you can check that out. Next Sunday morning at 11, we have Trayvon Martin's birthday party, and that's at 11 a.m. At the Senior Center. Kids Speak Out. That's always a popular thing at the library. So this year, we have been doing it at the Hilton branch, but we're now going to be doing it in the community room at the main library. We have Seth Boyden presents Black History Month, Gallery of Heroes. That's going to be on the 26th over at the school. Amani Perry, talking about, she's an author, a very famous author, is going to be talking about the importance of history in a time of erasure, and that's Friday, February 27th. And to round out the month, we have 2 events from the Y. On the 28th, they are having a Black History Month showcase. And then on March 1st, which is a little bit over, they're doing Black History Month at their center, and it's going to be exhibits and book readings and what have you. So again, we had a great Black History Month celebration in Maplewood, and we're ready to move into Women's History Month. So with that, we will end our elected official reports and move to discussion items. Mr. Daffis, you have streetery season.
Streetery season. Thank you, Mayor. What is a streetery? A streetery is a fancy word for outdoor dining. And as everyone in Maplewood knows by now, we have made our outdoor dining facilities permanent. And the current season starts on April 15th and ends November 15th. And while outdoor dining remains very popular with residents and with the participating restaurants and cafes, in recent times we've heard some complaints. There's some fatigue about the season being so long. Certainly when the outdoor cafes are put out there, their burden and impact on available parking in Maplewood Village is significant. There's no doubt about that. So we've been discussing this. We've been exploring it. We've always committed to making things better and adjusting as we need to and evolving as we always should in all matters. And so we've looked at this in the Code Committee, which I chair, and the recommendation is to reduce the season from the current April 15th to November 15th and make it possibly May 1st to October 1st or May 15th to October 15th. So I'll open the floor for my colleagues to have a nice discussion about it. What do we think?
I like reducing it, but I'd like it to be May 1st because April gets nice and warm and I think people are wanting to sit outside. And as we said at Code, since the sidewalks in Maplewood Village are so narrow, it's difficult to have outdoor dining. So, and it's a really important part of revitalizing and keeping a downtown alive is to have life on the street, and that's what outdoor dining provides. It also makes people sit and linger longer and therefore spend more at other businesses. So that's kind of why we looked at the streeteries in the first place. So I'd be in favor of reducing it, but starting May 1st, I guess, through the end of September or October 1st. That would be my preference.
Okay, anyone else?
No, I would agree. I think May 1st, and I think I'm fine with October 1st. It actually does get used on the Halloween celebration, but I don't think that's a reason to keep the whole month going. So I would keep it May 1st to October 1st.
Deputy Mayor?
So I was going to say I liked the May 15 to October 15, and here's why. The pool opens May 23rd, so to me, May 15 sort of aligned more with when we moved to summer, and is a little closer to when, kids are out of school. And then October 15, because we've got the downtown, the Maplewood Village Alliance does the September Saturdays. And I know this year at least, there was one of those dates that I think it was rained out and they pushed it to the next date in October. So that just seemed, to give it a little bit of time in October. I do think that not having the streeteries there during the Halloween parade would be helpful because we get so many families that come down to the Maplewood Village. The crowd, the street is absolutely packed with kids and families and trick-or-treaters, and honestly, we could use all the space we can get on the street for that event. So, I think there's still sidewalk dining that will be outside for people to watch, but I do like ending it. So I think if we wanted to, May 15 to October 15, or May 1st to October 1st, that's pretty similar to me. So I don't feel strongly about those two because that shaves, what that does is that shaves about a month, so it wouldn't be a month off each end, but it would be 2 months, it would be shaving off.
Yep.
So either of those dates work for me.
Thank you.
I think to meet in the middle, May 1st to October 15th.
Okay, I go with that.
Right. That way you could dine outside with mom for Mother's Day, which is usually the second weekend in May, right? Let's not forget mom.
Okay, so we'll go with that?
We'll go with that, and we'll make note of that, and we'll introduce it at the next meeting. Yes?
We have to do this by what, resolution or ordinance? Ordinance, okay.
Yeah, because we have to amend the ordinance, and we'll be discussing updated fees for our streeteries. That is coming up next for discussion. But thank you for this.
Great, thank you. All right, we're on our consent agenda. Committee Member Collins Colding.
I move the agenda.
I second the agenda.
Thank you.
That end of the day,
Ms. Adams?
no seconding, you're not seconding enough. You know, late, just kidding, never mind, yes.
Ms. Collins Colding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. Okay, we're on our second public comment, and this is on any subject matter. Yes, come on up and just,
My name is Kent Fairfield, 32 Miranda Road. I hope this is a proper place to make comment.
it is, I just want to say you have 3 minutes.
Yep. Real quick, I was here last week and spoke in favor of turning down the addition of the little wing of 11 Inwood Court, even though I did not know what our options would be, and I never heard it. That was specified in the meeting. So I want to give credit to Victor Luca and the board for itemizing as many as 8 other possibilities, which can allow us to comply with that as to be determined in the future. So that's helpful, and I give you credit for making that very overt now. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Anyone else want to address the Township Committee?
Good evening, everyone. Dave Helmkamp, 571 Prospect. I didn't listen to any of the meeting tonight, so if I say anything here that's redundant, contradictory, or anything, just let me know. But I came by just to share some insights with you from the last couple of weeks regarding the redevelopment zone in the village and affordable housing, the fourth round obligation, all that stuff. On the Facebook page that we publish, there were 99,000 views since January 26th. Now, those are just things going by on the screen, but there are 11,000 interactions with those posts since January 26th. That's huge. That's 20 times more than any issue in the last 10 years that we've been doing it. The site got an additional 7% in followers, up to about 990. So that's typically it was like, since over the 10 years, it was maybe 20 a year. And this was like 70 in 2 weeks.
So you have new fans? You have new fans?
Evidently, yeah. So, but really what I wanted to share was, what I got out of that and all the stuff that went by. First of all, many, 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 many new names. That's probably not a surprise to you guys. I probably recognize 5% at most. There's no understanding of affordable housing. Everyone cares. Everyone thinks we should do it. No one knows how it works. I think that's kind of a disconnect. It's unfortunate. It's something that we have in common, but no one understands how it's getting done. Same thing with the redevelopment process. People are very confused by the present, the interaction of the theater plan and the fourth round obligation, these stealth investors working in the village who are no longer hidden, but admittedly they were kind of stealth for 2 years. Many of us knew who it was. The same investors who are now adverse to the town in court. No one quite understands how we got there. Sudden deadlines in the face of what seems like an outsized proposal catches people. It's just like dissonance in their heads. What's going on? Why are we in court at all? Isn't this a local matter? That's a lot of what people see, and I think we got that reaction out of the planning board too. I'll leave a copy with Liz, but the rest of this is strictly personal opinion. you know, where I feel we are at.
Helm Camp, you have 10 seconds.
Can I go a little bit longer?
No.
No?
No,
Really?
really.
Okay. I'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'll put this on the record in the meantime.
Thank you. Anyone else want to address the Township Committee?
Good evening. I'm Liz Demkin. I've been at 19 Woodland Road since 1990, and I'm here to tell you about a developing situation in my neighborhood, on a parcel in my neighborhood, and wasn't really sure where I could go with this, so I thought I'd bring it here. The parcel in question is Brook Lane, Brook Path, and Brook Path is a woodland area that runs from the brook behind Delia Bolden School with an entrance on Woodland Road. And it's a biodiverse area, a lot of different types of trees, but about 30% of the trees are beech trees, and all of them are infected with beech leaf disease. Beech leaf disease is in our town, and it's spread by a pathogen that comes from a nematode. So there is treatment for it, and without treatment, a young tree will last 1 to 3 years, and then it dies. And an old tree will last 6 to 10 years, and then it's dead without treatment. I'm here to advocate for these trees. I know there is treatment of beech leaf disease in Maplewood, in the Memorial Park, and just wanted to put it out there that this area is used heavily by, the path is used heavily by students and children going to Delia Bolden, bikers, bicyclists, joggers, dog walkers, people walking to the village. And as I've said, I've been there for almost 36 years, and the trees were large when I got here, so I'm going to say that they're probably over 100 to 150 years old, and it would be a real shame to lose them without fighting for them. So I contacted Mike Horan in June, July, and August. He was going to meet with an arborist. I don't know how that went, but that's something, a starting point for somebody to look into to see if there's anything that can be done for these trees. And if not, be on alert that they will cause a danger to people in that area when they die. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just say, I'll
Yep.
follow up with Engineering Public Works on that. Do you want to leave your contact there or an email, and I can let you know?
So this is a path that the town maintains, so we should be checking that out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Anyone else want to address the Township Committee? Anyone on Zoom want to address the Township Committee?
Any members of the public joining us via Zoom would like to speak on any subject matter, please raise your hand. I see no hands, Mayor.
Okay, with that, we'll close that public comment period. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I move it.
Second?
Ms. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Collins-Golding?
Yes.
Mr. Daffis?
Yes.
Ms. Herman?
Yes.
Mayor DeLuca?
Yes, thank you. We'll see you again on March 3rd at 7:30 p.m.
Good night.
All right, and good luck.
Happy birthday to my father.